My beloved child, don't skip. Listen carefully, because this fictional story begins with a surprise that no one saw coming. Stay till the end because something huge is waiting for you. There are moments in life when everything seems ordinary, and then one unexpected encounter quietly changes the direction of your journey. In this fictional story, you have spent so much time believing you already know what your future relationships might look like that you never imagine the greatest surprise is still ahead. The next chapter of your life doesn't begin with fireworks or dramatic promises. It begins with one simple conversation that feels strangely familiar from the very first moment. What happened next changed everything. For a long time, you believed you had a specific type of person you would end up with. You imagined their personality, their background, and even the way your story would begin. But life has a remarkable way of challenging our expectations. One ordinary afternoon, you meet someone who doesn't fit the picture you had created in your mind. At first, you almost overlook them because they aren't who you expected. Yet every conversation leaves you smiling a little longer, thinking a little deeper, and wondering why being around them feels so natural. Listen carefully. This changes everything. As the days pass in this fictional story, the friendship grows without either of you forcing it. There are no games, no confusion, and no need to pretend to be someone you're not. Instead, there is honesty, mutual respect, and a quiet sense of comfort that becomes stronger every time you meet. You begin realizing that the healthiest relationships often arrive in the most unexpected ways. Not because they are perfect, but because they allow both people to be completely themselves. Meanwhile, the people around you begin noticing something different. Friends who once thought they knew exactly who you would choose are surprised by how naturally this connection develops. Family members smile as they see a happiness in you that wasn't there before. Even those who doubted whether you would ever trust someone again begin admitting that this relationship brings out the very best in both of you. It isn't shocking because of who the person is. It's shocking because of how deeply you encourage each other to grow. Stay till the end because something huge is waiting for you. One evening, while talking about the future, the other person quietly says, "I think the best things in life are the ones we never planned for." Those words stay with you because they perfectly describe your journey. You spent so much time searching for certainty that you almost missed the beautiful surprise waiting right in front of you. My beloved child, this fictional story reminds us that no one can predict who someone's next relationship will be with. The most meaningful connections grow through shared values, trust, kindness, honesty, and time. Sometimes the greatest surprise isn't the identity of the person. It is discovering a relationship that helps both people become wiser, happier, and more compassionate than they ever imagined. Listen carefully. This changes everything. Just when you think you've understood why this relationship feels so different, an unexpected conversation reveals a hidden connection from the past that makes everything seem even more remarkable. And when that conversation finally happens, what happened next changes everything. My beloved child, don't skip this part. Listen carefully, because this fictional story is about to reveal why this unexpected connection feels so different. Stay till the end because something huge is waiting for you. After that first meeting, you tried to convince yourself it was nothing more than a pleasant conversation. But somehow, their words stayed with you. Days passed, Yet you found yourself remembering the way they listened without interrupting, the way they smiled with genuine warmth, and the quiet confidence they carried without trying to impress anyone. It wasn't excitement built on mystery, it was peace built on authenticity. What happened next changed everything. As the friendship continued to grow, you both discovered surprising similarities. You had faced different challenges, yet the lessons you learned were remarkably alike. Both of you had experienced disappointment, both had learned the importance of honesty, and both had reached a point where you valued peace more than unnecessary drama. Instead of pretending to be perfect, you shared your stories openly. Those honest conversations became the foundation of a connection that felt stronger with every passing day. Listen carefully. This changes everything. In this fictional story, people around you slowly began noticing the change. Friends who had never seen you this relaxed started asking what was different. Family members commented on the confidence that had quietly returned to your smile. They weren't surprised because of the person's appearance or background. They were surprised because they saw a version of you that seemed happier, calmer, and more hopeful than ever before. That unexpected transformation became the real shock. One afternoon, while the two of you were talking about life, the other person smiled and said, "The best relationships aren't the ones that make you lose yourself. They're the ones that help you become more of who you truly are." Those simple words stayed with you because they perfectly described everything you had been experiencing. For the first time, you weren't trying to earn someone's approval. You simply felt accepted for who you already were. Stay till the end because something huge is waiting for you. Later that evening, while reflecting on everything that had happened, you realized something remarkable. You had spent so much time wondering who your next relationship would be with that you almost missed the more important question, how that relationship would make you feel. The answer was becoming clear. It wasn't about excitement alone. It was about trust, respect, kindness, and the freedom to grow together. My beloved child, this fictional story reminds us that meaningful relationships are rarely built on dramatic predictions. They grow naturally through shared values, open communication, patience, and mutual care. The greatest surprise is often not who enters our lives, but how much we grow because of the connection we build together. Listen carefully. This changes everything. Just as you began feeling comfortable with where the journey was leading, an unexpected discovery about the other person's past made you realize your lives had crossed much earlier than either of you remembered. And when that hidden connection finally came to light, what happened next changed everything. My beloved child, don't skip this part. Listen carefully, because this fictional story is now revealing the unexpected connection that neither of you ever imagined. Stay till the end because something huge is waiting for you. After hearing that your lives might have crossed before, curiosity naturally grew. Neither of you could remember meeting, yet the feeling of familiarity refused to disappear. One afternoon, while looking through old photographs and memories, you discovered something surprising. Years ago, you had attended the same community event, standing only a few feet apart without ever speaking. It was a small coincidence, but it reminded you how unpredictable life can be. What happened next changed everything. The discovery didn't make you believe everything was planned in advance. Instead, it made you appreciate how many opportunities life quietly gives us to meet people at different stages of our journey. Back then, you were both focused on different goals and different challenges. Perhaps you weren't ready for the friendship that would eventually grow. Now, after years of learning, healing, and maturing, your conversations carried a depth that would have been impossible before. Listen carefully. This changes everything. As your bond continued to grow, you noticed something that set this connection apart from every relationship you had experienced before. There was no pressure to impress each other. You could celebrate successes without competition and talk about disappointments without fear of judgment. Every conversation left both of you feeling encouraged rather than exhausted. It became clear that the strongest relationships are built on emotional safety, where honesty is welcomed and kindness is returned. Friends and family continued noticing the difference. They weren't shocked because the relationship appeared dramatic or unexpected. They were surprised because they had never seen you so peaceful. The confidence in your voice, the genuine smile on your face, and the calm way you approached life's challenges revealed a version of you they hadn't seen in years. They realized this fictional relationship wasn't changing your identity, it was helping you become the best version of yourself. Stay till the end because something beautiful is waiting for you. One evening, during a quiet walk, the other person looked at you and said, "I think the greatest surprise isn't who we meet. It's discovering that the right people inspire us to become better without asking us to become someone else." Those words settled deeply in your heart. They reminded you that real love isn't built on pretending. It grows where trust, respect, and authenticity are allowed to flourish. My beloved child, this fictional story reminds us that no one can predict who someone's next relationship will be. The most meaningful connections are discovered through shared experiences, mutual care, patience, and honesty. Sometimes the greatest surprise isn't the person's identity, it's the peace, growth, and joy that healthy relationships bring into our lives. Listen carefully. This changes everything. As the evening came to an end, you realized the journey was only beginning. One final chapter remained, and it would reveal why everyone around you was so amazed by this relationship. Not because it was impossible, but because it showed what genuine trust, respect, and kindness can create when two people choose to grow together. But, my beloved child, the best part of this fictional story is still waiting. And when that final chapter unfolds, what happened next changes everything. My beloved child, don't skip this part. Listen carefully, because this fictional story is now approaching its greatest turning point. Stay till the end because something huge is waiting for you. As the weeks passed, your connection continued growing in ways neither of you expected. There was no need to rush or force anything. Every conversation became more meaningful, every shared laugh strengthened your trust, and every challenge you faced together reminded you that real relationships are built one honest moment at a time. Without realizing it, the friendship had quietly become one of the most important parts of your life. What happened next changed everything. One afternoon, a close friend looked at both of you and smiled before saying, "I've never seen either of you this peaceful." Those simple words stayed with you because they reflected something you hadn't fully noticed yourself. This relationship wasn't changing you into someone different. It was giving you the confidence to become more of who you truly were. The walls built by past disappointments slowly disappeared, replaced by openness, laughter, and genuine trust. Listen carefully. This changes everything. In this fictional story, the people around you couldn't stop talking about the positive changes they saw. Family members noticed how naturally you supported one another. Friends admired the respect you showed during disagreements. Even those who had once doubted whether lasting love was possible began saying that your relationship reminded them what healthy communication and mutual encouragement looked like. The biggest surprise wasn't the identity of the person beside you, it was the strength of the partnership you were building together. One evening, while sitting beneath a sky full of stars, the other person quietly turned to you and said, "The greatest gift you've given me isn't perfection. It's the freedom to be completely myself without fear of being judged." Those words touched your heart because you felt exactly the same. For the first time, love didn't feel like something you had to earn. It felt like something that grew naturally through honesty, patience, and consistent care. Stay till the end because something beautiful is waiting for you. Looking back on everything that had happened, you smiled as you remembered how worried you once were about the future. You had spent so much time wondering who your next relationship would be that you never imagined the real miracle would be finding someone who valued your heart more than appearances, your character more than perfection, and your happiness as much as their own. My beloved child, this fictional story reminds us that meaningful relationships are not built by predictions or impossible promises. They are built through everyday choices. Listening carefully, communicating honestly, forgiving generously, and showing kindness even when life becomes difficult. Those simple choices create the strongest foundations for lasting love. Listen carefully. This changes everything. As you looked toward the future together, you realized something remarkable. The relationship that surprised everyone wasn't extraordinary because it followed a mysterious plan. It was extraordinary because two people chose respect over pride, understanding over assumptions, and hope over fear. And that choice changed both of your lives forever. But, my beloved child, one final chapter still remains. In that final chapter, this fictional story will come to a beautiful ending, revealing why the greatest surprise was never who entered your life, it was the incredible person you became because of a relationship built on trust, kindness, and genuine love. My beloved child, don't skip this final chapter. Listen carefully, because this fictional story has been leading to this beautiful ending from the very beginning. Stay till the end because every lesson is about to come together. As the months quietly passed, you looked back on the journey with a grateful heart. The relationship that once seemed so unexpected had become one of the greatest blessings of your life. Not because it was perfect, but because it was built on honesty, patience, and mutual respect. You realized that the biggest surprise was never the person who entered your life. It was the peace that entered your heart the moment you stopped chasing perfection and started appreciating something real. What happened next changed everything. The two of you continued facing life's challenges together. There were difficult days, moments of uncertainty, and obstacles neither of you could control. But instead of allowing those moments to divide you, they became opportunities to grow even closer. Every challenge strengthened your trust. Every honest conversation deepened your understanding. Every act of kindness reminded you that true love is not proven during easy seasons alone, it shines brightest when two people choose each other during the difficult ones. Listen carefully. This changes everything. One quiet evening, while watching the sunset together, your partner smiled and softly said, "I used to believe love was about finding someone extraordinary. Now I know it's about finding someone who makes ordinary days feel extraordinary." Those words stayed with you forever because they perfectly described everything you had discovered. Real love wasn't built on dramatic promises. It was built on consistency, encouragement, loyalty, and the daily choice to care for one another. As the years passed in this fictional story, everyone around you continued noticing the difference. Friends admired the respect you showed each other. Family members often smiled when they saw how naturally you supported one another through every season of life. People who once doubted lasting relationships now found themselves inspired by the quiet strength of yours. The relationship shocked everyone. Not because it was impossible, but because it proved that genuine love still grows where trust, kindness, and honest communication are given room to flourish. Stay till the end because something beautiful is waiting for you. One day, while organizing old belongings, you found the journal that had started this incredible journey. You opened the first page and smiled as you read the sentence that once seemed so mysterious. The greatest connections are discovered through character, not predictions. This time, you fully understood its meaning. You no longer searched for signs about the future because you were already living the answer. The greatest surprise had never been hidden in a prediction. It had been quietly growing through every thoughtful choice both of you made together. My beloved child, this fictional story reminds us that no one can predict who our future partner will be. The most meaningful relationships are built through shared values, mutual respect, patience, and genuine care. The happiest endings are created not by certainty about tomorrow, but by choosing kindness, honesty, and gratitude every single day. Listen carefully. This changes everything. Looking toward the future, you realized that every disappointment from your past had taught you something valuable. Every lesson had prepared you to recognize a healthier connection when it finally appeared. You no longer feared what tomorrow might bring because you had learned that real happiness begins when two people grow together instead of trying to change one another. And so this fictional story ends not with a shocking prediction, but with a beautiful truth. The relationship that surprised everyone became extraordinary because it was built on trust instead of fear, respect instead of pride, and love expressed through everyday actions. The greatest miracle was never who walked into your life. It was the person you became because you chose hope over doubt, compassion over resentment, and genuine love over unrealistic expectations. And that, my beloved child, is a beautiful ending worthy of every chapter that came before it.